Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us today. Here at Europe Express, we're here to help you impress. With more than 30 years of experience in custom European travel, we're your trusted partner in crafting unforgettable, personalized vacations that delight your clients and help you drive your travel business. From the iconic landmarks of Paris and Rome to hidden gems, our deep expertise and all of our on-the-ground knowledge ensure that every itinerary we offer to you is thoughtfully designed and seamlessly executed, truly one of a kind offering for your clients. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to get started here in just a moment. I did want to flag that the questions box is open on your GoToWebinar control panel. Feel free to add any and all of your burning questions about packing tips or all things Europe Express. We're happy to answer those at the end of the webinar today. And we are recording this as well. So if you do have to step away, take a call, do what you got to do, you can always come back and watch the recording at your leisure. Hi, everyone. I'm Kelsey Austin. I'm your host for today's webinar. As Partnership Marketing Manager here at Europe Express, I bring over a decade of experience in B2B travel. I started as a travel advisor, later spent 5 years as a business development manager, so I do know firsthand what it takes to build trust with your clients and craft meaningful, personalized itineraries for them. I now have the awesome job of leading our educational programming here at Europe Express, from offering webinars to designing our fam trips, all of the tools and knowledge that you need to confidently sell Europe. I'm really passionate about creating memorable, personalized travel experiences and helping you impress your clients with every itinerary that we offer. But I'm not our only speaker today. If you're sick of my voice, never fear. I've got a friend alongside with me today to share all of her tips and tricks about packing for Europe. Carmen, say hello.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much, Kelsey. This was really exciting to get your invitation and join on today's webinar. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time. I know that your schedule is really busy, so we truly appreciate you spending this time with us. And for those of you that are also listening later to this recording, thank you so much for your partnership and letting us really help you in building those customized itinerary all throughout Europe. And today, giving you a couple of tips on, how to become that pro in packing to Europe. Again, my name is Carmen Gashnikov. I am the Director of Host Partnerships here at Europe Express. I have the pleasure of working with so many of you, with our team of BDM, with marketing, really with all of the different departments that we come together and collaborate in how we can better support you and make your clients' travel experience the best out there. Back to you,
Thank you,
Kelsey.
Carmen. All right, Carmen, we'll come back on in just a second. For those that are maybe new to us at Europe Express or new to selling custom Europe, we did want to introduce you to us at Europe Express. Our expertise and our passion is all about helping travel advisors design custom experiences that connect your clients with the culture, the people, the history, the natural beauty, of course, the incredible food throughout Europe. I travel with my tummy. I don't know about you all. We work exclusively with travel advisors and can manage every element of your client's itinerary. Our ultimate goal is to take the stress off of your plate and help you impress your clients with thoughtful, seamless, unforgettable travel experiences for your clients. And as your one-stop shop for FIT travel to Europe, we offer a full range of customizable services that we can pull together to build the perfect itinerary for your clients. From airfare, rail tickets and passes to immersive sightseeing and stunning hotels, we can help you craft tailored experiences that impress your clients and keep them coming back. If you are looking for more of a deep dive into all of these different elements, these products and services, I recommend registering for one of our Introduction to Europe Express webinars, where we'll really go into detail about all of these different components and how to get started working with us. So keep an eye out for a registration link for those. We host them about once a month at least, if not more often. Now let's take a moment to highlight what truly sets Europe Express apart in the market and why travel advisors choose to work with us again and again. And top of the list for me anyway is that we're exclusive to you, our travel advisors. There's no consumer side to our business. We're fully dedicated to your success. And since we don't market to consumers, you can feel confident knowing that you're never going to compete with us in terms of locking in those sales. And we are Europe specialists. Europe is all we do, and we do it really well, if I do say so myself. We have over 30 years of experience. Our team has really deep destination specific knowledge about all things Europe and wonderful insights to help you craft trips that go, beyond the basic sightseeing of Europe. We also have a dedicated private groups team as well. So whether you're working with a leisure group, maybe a cruise group, a custom multi-generational family trip, we have in-house group experts. They'll help you manage all the details and logistics to deliver a seamless experience for groups of 15 travelers or more. And we also offer hand-selected products. We partner with trusted local suppliers and personally vet many of our hotels, our tours, our transportation options. We all know in travel that it's a relationship-driven business, and that extends all the way through from the travel advisors that we work with to our product team in the hotels and the in-country suppliers that we work with and use to curate our portfolio. And last but certainly not least, we offer in-destination support for your clients 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This is the only time we would work with your clients directly instead of going through you. And that is while they're abroad, if they have a question or an issue, maybe their train was canceled, there was a strike, any of those kind of snafus that tend to come up when traveling, they've got a phone number they could call anytime, day or night, and we can be their first point of contact to help them navigate that and get some answers in real time instead of you being on the receiving end of a potentially panicky phone call. Now, Europe Express is part of the Travelopia family of brands, so even if you're new to us, you might be familiar with some of our sister brands. We all represent a wide array of experiential travel brands all over the world, and we are proud of the backing and support of our parent company, but each of us operate fully independently and get to really hone in and be the best at what we do. And now, if you've been around for any length of time and maybe have seen updates to our branding, our website, a lot of our tech has updated and changed in the last 12 months or so. And while our technology continues to evolve, one thing really hasn't changed for us, and that we're a people-first company. Relationships are at the heart of what we do, and we're really proud to have a US-based team that's here to support you every step of the way. We have a locally based business development team spread out across the country, and they do exactly as their name says. They help you develop your business selling Europe. Whether you're new to the destination or you're scaling up your sales, they can help guide, train, and strategize with you. You'll also work directly with our experienced Europe specialists. That's what we call our reservations team because they truly are specialists in Europe. So there's no need to start from scratch with every single quote that comes your way. You can have a go-to specialist that you work with directly over and over again. They get to know your style, your clients, and they offer you that true continuity and personalized support. And our teams, both our business development team and our Europe specialists, are located across time zones in the US. So no matter where you're based, there is someone available when you need to talk to them. And of course, we work exclusively with travel advisors. So everything we do is built with your success in mind. But we wouldn't get too far without our folks over across the pond in Europe. Our operations are headquartered in Barcelona, which gives us a really strong local presence, and we can keep our fingers on the pulse of what's going on in all the destinations that we operate. This team is also constantly vetting and enhancing our product portfolio to make sure we're offering those high quality options we know your clients are looking for. And we also have dedicated product managers who specialize in a specific country or region to maintain those strong relationships with our trusted suppliers. All right. Now, from river cruises to FIT to guided tours, there's no wrong way to experience Europe. However, custom travel does offer some unique advantages that really elevate your client's experience. And number one on the list for me is that every itinerary is tailor-made to your client's personal interests and budget. Whether they're looking for a more luxury getaway, a foodie adventure, a family-friendly trip, we can customize every detail that fits their unique needs. And unlike fixed departures, custom travel really allows your clients to maximize their time on vacation. They could depart any day that suits them. We all lead busy lives. We've got work conferences, the kids' soccer camp, so many priorities to juggle that it can be really hard to find a fixed dated tour or cruise that works for everyone's schedule. So this flexibility really makes it easier for clients to maximize their time and destination, and there's no stressful waiting around for a tour date to go from on request to confirm. Custom itineraries that we build for you also provide the ultimate access for your clients to reach destinations and experiences that larger coaches or cruises simply, can't access. The Amalfi Coast of Italy is a perfect example of this. They have really strict limitations on coach size, as well as the number of coaches that can access the region on a daily basis. So with custom travel, clients can explore those hidden villages, secluded beaches, no worries about all those group travel logistics that can be prohibitive in some popular regions. Our product team is also really passionate about partnering with locally owned and operated hotels, tour operators, and other vendors. So this approach not only guarantees authentic, high quality experiences, but also ensures that more of your clients' hard-earned travel dollars stay and support the local economies so that we can continue to visit them year after year. Now, we know that every client is different. Your idea of a dream vacation to Italy may differ drastically from mine or my fiance's, as I'm discovering as we plan our honeymoon, but we make sure that each of your clients have the European experience that they're looking for, whether they're into a foodie adventure, maybe they're about all things art and history, want behind the scenes access to world-class museums, hidden cultural gems, could really immerse clients in the culture, history, art of Europe. Those family and multi-generational vacations, travel can truly be fun for the whole family in Europe. We can absolutely help get you there. And of course, romance and honeymoon, thoughtfully crafted escapes that feature more intimate settings, luxury accommodations, all of the boxes that your clients are looking to tick for their once in a lifetime honeymoon. Now, we do have a lot of advisors come to us for the first time because they have a river or ocean cruise in Europe and their clients are looking for a pre or post extension. So we can seamlessly extend your clients' cruises with tailored land itineraries that explore more of the iconic port cities that they're in, or get them further afield to destinations not accessible by river or ocean cruises. We don't have a minimum spend or minimum night required. So if your clients just want a couple nights to really soak in the magic of Barcelona before starting their cruise, we can absolutely help you there. Film location tours has really grown in popularity. That's been a trending thing in recent years. It's a great way to bring movies and TV shows to life for fans of anything from The Sound of Music, classic films like The Godfather, all the way to trending newer shows and movies like Game of Thrones or the new Star Wars films. A really cool way to bring your clients' fandom to a whole new level. Of course, Disneyland Paris for those clients that sell a lot of Disney. Maybe your clients have ticked those boxes already. They've done both US parks, they've done a Disney cruise and are looking for something different. Why not offer them a Disneyland Paris package? Super unique and a wonderful way to enjoy Disney with a bit of a different lens. And last but certainly not least, beach and spa getaways. Europe is an amazing destination for a coastal retreat. They don't have to limit themselves to just the Caribbean. From Croatia and Greece to Portugal and Spain, there are amazing beach and spa getaway opportunities for clients going to Europe. All right, now without further ado, let's get into the good stuff. Carmen, I'll hand it over to you to share all of your packing insights with us today.
Thank you, Kelsey. Wow, that was a lot of information, guys. But remember, we're always here to answer those questions and connect you with your BDMs and help you build your business. And that's exactly what we want to do. So today, packing principles. If you would have asked me a couple of years ago if this would have been an exciting talking point for me, I would have probably said you were crazy because packing was just one of the most stressful things for me with traveling. And for those of you that know me or have gotten to know me, traveling is such a big part of what I do, whether it is a conference or joining you on a fam or an experience throughout Europe or traveling with my family, which of course, we all love to do. Now, uh, packing has become one of my favorite process, but it's been through a couple of trials and errors throughout the years. Planning makes a big part of that process. And it really does help to take away the stress and the center around um, taking really a luggage all throughout Europe where it can become a little bit of a stressful process. So I love to prepare a couple of days and really ensure that that's something that I have down and we can really focus on the activities and the experiences that have been planned out through this process. So my first step is really a checklist. This is really based on the itinerary and the agenda. But as you'll learn, the more that you do this, you learn that there's going to be a pretty standard checklist that stays with you that you can really adapt to any style of travel. Next slide, please. Oop, I think I lost audio there for a second. Can you hear me again, Kels?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay, there we go. Sorry about that, guys. So like I said, we might all have different style of traveling. There might be different priorities for all of us. For me, planning and really not having to focus on carrying a large and heavy bag throughout Europe has become that top priority. I really don't want to have to worry about the cobblestones or the small elevators, as we've all learned through the years, and really just focus on the experiences. So carry-on tends to be my go-to when I am planning. Now, that doesn't mean a lot of you have traveled with me that once in a while I will have that carry-on or that carry-on plus a checked bag. But if I can stick with that carry on, it really does make a difference. But again, it's all about the planning, and I will share a little bit of what those tips for me are. I am a visual person. I know that most of us, just our human nature, we really do better when we visualize what we're doing or experiencing. A perfect example is with your clients, when you're building those itineraries for them, when you help them bring it to life and really help them visualize it through a nice itinerary that is presented through Europe Express, it helps them really understand what they're going to be experiencing. So I kind of follow that same format when I am planning my trip, my outfits. I have a lot of priorities of whether it's easy, is it comfortable, can I use these article of clothing in different outfits more than once. So to help me visualize that, I start this process a couple of weeks before where I'm identifying certain items that I think will be a perfect fit for that specific trip. So one of my secret weapons, which I've been using now for the past couple of years, is a clothing rack. So I do have a little area on my office that is just for me to pack and get ready and really sort out and plan what my next trip will look like. So with using this rack throughout the few weeks before leading up to my travels, I start picking out certain items that I think will work well. I leave it hanging in that clothing rack, and I start to really build a full set of outfits that I think will work well with what I've visualized and what I'm planning for that trip. Just going into the next slide here. So I wanted to give you, again, a bit of a visual of what curating and really putting that capsule wardrobe together may look like. And again, this took some time for me for it to make sense. And everyone has their own individual style, right? Your preference might be looking a bit more chic. Mine is a combination of the two and being comfortable, because I want to focus on the experience while still looking kind of cute, right? So it's a combination of that. So this is a mix and match of those items, whether it's a couple of dresses, a couple of pants, some tops that I can change out with the pants and even the dresses, and really turn it into a completely different outfit. And a lot of these clothing items, I want to make sure that they can be adapted to different weather necessities, whether it's now the really excruciating heat in the summer, or maybe during those rainy days, but also items that I can very easily use both in the day and turn it into nighttime outfits by adding a couple of additional items like nicer earrings, different shoes, or some scarves that I can really dress it up into an evening look.
This is awesome, Carmen. Also, to chime in, I've found that regardless of where I'm going, the destination or the season, I tend to bring a lot of the same items of clothing. I find that Europeans do dress a little bit nicer day to day, like less of the leggings and athleisure. And so, regardless of where I'm going, I tend to end up bringing a lot of the same, dressed as pants, tops, regardless of the season. I don't know about you.
Yeah, and you just mentioned something that made me think of a topic that's been going on a lot for the past couple of months, and it's that a lot of us travelers, we want to envision what would a European local wear, or how would that look like? And I think we kind of like lose a little bit of the point. And in my opinion, I've recently started, you know what? I want to do my own style, comfort, still look great and comfortable, but still be me. And I think that this goes not just on what our wardrobe is or what we're packing, but also on the experiences that we do in these destinations, because we still want it to be unique to our own interest and style. So whether we are a foodie, like you mentioned earlier, right? You travel with your stomach, so do I, but also on our own style and as an individual person. So I think this can be viewed in different ways.
100%. Absolutely. All right. So getting away from clothes for a minute and onto some of the gear that you recommend, Carmen.
Yes, and this is because I know that those couple of previous slides, you're like, okay, Carmen, you might be a little cuckoo because that's a lot of items and you're trying to stick to a carry-on. I know it seems wild, but another of my secret tools, I will not travel without them anymore. I discovered them about 2 to 3 years ago. Actually, when Europe Express, we actually came out with a packing cube for our trade shows and our engagement events. And I was like, oh my God, what is this device? And I started using it for most of my travels. And then I was also introduced into the compression. So those double zipper packing cubes, they've become a lifesaver. That's how I'm able to get all of those items into a packing cube. Now, I know that you may ask, okay, well, that's great. That might be doable in the summer, but how about in the winter and the fall, Carmen, when the clothing's a little bit more bulkier? Well, I still use packing cubes. I just slightly change it to a different style, which is the vacuum seal bags, which does help to do the exact same thing. It just makes it a little bit more doable with the bulkier items. Another gear that for me it's a big lifesaver and just makes things a little bit easier is a crossbody bag, whether it's a fanny pack, and many out there. I will say, when I started using fanny packs again about 4 or 5 years ago, a few of you laughed at me and said, you're crazy, that's not coming back. Well, who's laughing now? Because fanny packs have made that comeback.
I take it back,
And
Carmen.
okay, okay. I didn't want to name you, Kelsey. I didn't want to name you, but I appreciate you coming out and clean. But you were not the only one. But they've really become a lifesaver. There's so many other styles that have come out that make it really chic, and you can really adapt it to both during the day and nighttime. And then, unfortunately, at times when we're traveling to these touristy destinations, not just Europe, but really anywhere, there's that risk of pickpocketing, right? And that's something that you don't want to worry too much about, but you want to do the preparation to be safe and not have to worry while you're touring and walking around. So a fanny pack that is based in your front area just makes it a lot easier, and you can then, carry around all the things that you need, which you'll find out a couple of things that I do recommend to keep with you at all times, even when you're walking around. And another big part of the gear that I always suggest is having air tags. This is a peace of mind for you, especially when you're checking a bag, but I don't only use it for my check bags. I always have one on my carry-on as well, because unfortunately, and I'm going to knock on wood because it hasn't happened that often for me, but I can't say that it hasn't happened, where you have to involuntarily have your bag checked on the gate. And it does happen. Sometimes it's just out of your control, and you still want to make sure that you're tracking your bag. And I also add an air tag to my personal bag, my personal belonging. And again, that's just for that extra peace of mind. Now, another reason why carry-on works really well for me, I have many rules, but one of them is that I make sure to utilize every inch of that carry-on. I'm not sure if you've noticed, but even some of those carry-ons have a zipper where it takes you to kind of like the base and skeleton of that carry-on. I even use that space, guys. I'll put in there some socks. I'll put in there something that I can flat out that doesn't really add more space. But any little crook and space between shoes that you can add like extra socks or scarves and belts and your jewelry, glasses, just use every inch, so that way that you're utilizing as much space as possible.
Yeah, it really
Use it
does
all.
make a difference. I can vouch for that too. I wear glasses, and so the glasses case always fits like really nicely in between the frame.
Exactly. Yes. And I'm like, you know what? And scarves and belts, those are kind of like the some of the items that will help elevate and change up a lot of these outfits, right? So like that different outfits that you're building and turning them into like day and night outfits. These different little items will really elevate those different looks for you. Now we've been talking about the carry-on and like the main part and focus of packing, but we have to remember that we also have our own personal bag when we're traveling. And this is another one that I make sure to utilize to its potential. It probably, and probably one of the reasons why I also want to have my carry-on is because I want to put my personal bag on top of it, because sometimes it can be a little bit heavy with all of the stuff that I add in there. But a couple of my musts that I have in here is I carry extra clothing. Yes, this is in addition to my carry-on, because again, what if my carry-on gets involuntarily checked in? I want to make sure that I at least have 2 to 3 outfits for the first couple of nights in my personal bag in case that does happen. And again, it provides me more space to have more items that I can take with me. And guess what? I use a packing cube that makes it really organized, and I put it on the very bottom of that bag, and then I can still go ahead and add additional items to my personal bag. Of course, one big thing is the plane ride, right? It's especially when you're doing a red eye from the US to Europe. A lot of you don't know this, guys, but I actually am afraid of flying. I know that is a bit crazy, especially I'm at the airport probably about 4 to 5 times a month. So I fly quite a lot. So all of you probably are a bit surprised, but that means that I might not be the best traveler, right? I am very seasoned travel, but I don't sleep well. I get a little bit anxious. So for me, sleeping is really important. I know that's important for all of us, but especially when flying on a red eye. So the items that I bring with me, like a good travel pillow and an eye mask, is a big deal for me. My husband thinks I'm a little cuckoo for this, but I probably have about 8 to 9 different pillows for travel. And depending on the flight that I've booked, it depends on the pillow that I take. So for the overnights to Europe, I love using my inflatable travel pillow. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you'll have access to my Amazon travel items that I suggest, and you'll be able to find it there. It just makes my life so much easier. And I actually can get a couple of hours sleep versus with any other pillow, it's probably 20 minutes at the most. Um, I always carry a universal adapter or converter with me, and this is always in my personal bag, no matter where I am. I have my portable fan with me, that's also in my list, and it's always in my personal bag, whether I'm in the plane or in one of the tours in Europe, because I'm sure some of you have experience where you get on the flight and the plane hasn't been turned on, or they haven't been able to turn the AC. Yeah, I probably look a little crazy with my little fan in there, but I'm the only one that's not dying of heat. Okay. So it makes a big difference. Same for when you're walking those long days in Rome or somewhere in Greece in the middle of the summer. It comes super handy. And of course, sunglasses, earplugs. And then no matter what, guys, it doesn't matter where I'm going, whether it's short or long, I just never wear shorts or skirts on airplanes. I think this should be like a required dressing rule, but that's just me. But there's a lot of reasons for this, guys. Just like it can get really warm, it can get really cold once you're in the air. And unfortunately, the seats and the airplane is not as clean as we would want it to be. So this is just more of a personal preference for myself. How about you, Kelsey? Do you have anything that you really prefer, or it's a must for you on your bag?
Absolutely. This is also why we're such good travelers together, because I put a lot of the same items in my personal item as well. I also keep some basic toiletries on me. If my bag is involuntarily checked, what do I need to have, that first night in a hotel if my luggage isn't with me? So toothbrush, little travel toothpaste, dry shampoo always comes in really handy for me. A Tide pen, again, travel with my tummy. I'm
Yes.
probably not. I'm probably a bit of a messy eater, so the Tide pen, I go through those frequently, but they come in really handy. And to combat the dryness on the airplane, it really wreaks havoc on my skin. I don't know about you, and regardless
Yeah.
of who you are, the planes are going to dehydrate you. So I do like those makeup remover wipes. They're usually cold and just add a little hydration to your skin. Vaseline brand lip balm is elite. You can't tell me differently. And then electrolyte powders as well, liquid IV, drip drop. You can pack a whole bunch of them. They're really efficient and come in small little single serve packages. And that will really help kind of kickstart getting you hydrated on the plane and once you land in your destination. um, Similar to what Carmen was saying about the temperature can fluctuate pretty dramatically on a plane. So even if it's the middle of summer right now and I'm going to, the south of Spain, I'm still going to pack a sweater, usually a sweater and a scarf. Nice to have really lightweight, easy to pack layers to take on and off while flying. But also in many destinations in Europe, if you're going to a temple or a cathedral, women need to have shoulders covered. So having a lightweight scarf or maybe a cardigan will also come in handy when you're in destination as well. And similar to Carmen, the travel anxiety gets to me too sometimes. So there are great free apps out there like Calm or Headspace. Those are both really good ones that can do little breathing exercises from, just like 2 minutes to 20 minutes or anything in between, just to kind of help you refocus or, tune out any of the, travel day craziness. So I do love firing those off once I get on the plane. However, no matter
Yeah, these
where
are
either of us
awesome.
are going, packing our patience is huge. Carmen, what do you think?
Oh my God. It's just, that's probably one of the biggest, I would say, aside from packing your travel insurance. We know that travel can be very unpredictable, and having both patience and your travel insurance will make the biggest difference. Unfortunately, things are out of our control. I was just joking with you last week when we were together, that the past month has just been one of those months for me that every single flight has just been delayed, and not getting to where I'm going until, the next day, or spending all those hours at the airport. And it does happen, but we have to focus on what the journey is, what the experience is, and not letting it ruin the beauty that travel leads us to, right?
Absolutely. It's so true. And important to remind your clients as well. A lot of us on this webinar are seasoned travelers, and this is, something that's just ingrained, but always worth, when you send that bon voyage message to your clients, to remind them, to always pack your patience. Even when you are in destination, some things move slower. There's just cultural differences that we can't control. So packing our patience, always a good recommendation. So now let's talk about some differences between a shorter or a longer trip. So short for us, we're thinking, 5 to maybe 9 days in Europe, a bit of a quicker trip. Carmen, what do you think?
Yeah, I honestly, I know that most have that mentality on separating the two. I kind of go back to my usual carry-on mentality for both, but this is where I know for the majority of us, this is where it becomes a little bit more realistic for a carry-on, right? Those
Yeah.
shorter trips, where you might not need so many items, but you're looking for those that you can, they're versatile, right? And you can add blazers or carry-ons, those wraps, and then really those essential toiletries that I did see. Someone made a comment in here earlier saying, well, that's why carry-on is so hard for me, because my essentials, anything for my hair products and my toiletries in general, like how can I do that in a carry-on? And it can be a little bit difficult, but I will give you a couple of my tips. I found a couple of brands, European brands, that I love, love, love so much. So it's kind of an excuse for me to go shopping when I get to Europe. So that's one. And if I remember correctly, Kelsey, you and I did this together. Was it in Vienna? I can't remember, but we
We
we went
did.
to the store, and we got a couple of those essential toiletries for, whether it was makeup or hair stuff. And I got it to bring it back, because guess what? I do believe in carry on going, but on the way back, I do not believe in that carry on. I am checking that bag, because I might have a second bag with all of the stuff that I might have bought.
Nice, love it. So, little bit of some small differences if you're going on a longer trip. I agree with Carmen that carry-on mentality will always come in handy and give you that peace of mind for not lugging large suitcases around narrow cobblestone streets. But you can plan to do laundry over in Europe. This could be a nice way to not think about having to bring 14 different uh, outfit combinations. If you just kind of make a plan to do laundry while you're over there. I would do it if you know you're going to be in a hotel for 2 or 3 nights minimum, just to give enough time to get the laundry done and back to you. But this can be a really nice stressor off your shoulders. So just know you're going to do laundry halfway through and not worry about it. Um, in terms of a carry-on only mentality, I think this does come in particularly handy with longer trips. Typically with a longer trip, we're moving to different destinations, right? So if you are unpacking, repacking, moving around somewhat frequently, having that carry-on only mentality, will also be a little stressor off your shoulders if you're not having to repack and chop and change what you're carrying around so much. Of course, sticking to similar colors that mix and match. I think Carmen and I have both kind of spoken to this, that capsule wardrobe where everything can be interchanged, and those statement pieces, belts, jewelry, that'll really kind of set that outfit apart. And then, of course, I do love the compressible puffer rain jackets. You can squish them down into a tiny little ball, but always great to have, some sort of layering piece, the jacket or rain gear, just in case. And then shoes, we could probably do a whole webinar on shoes, Carmen, but those options that combine function and fashion are really key. Carmen, when you and I were traveling together, I think we were clocking about 4 miles a day sightseeing
Yeah,
in Europe.
minimum.
So
Mhm.
yeah, broken in shoes, there are so many options out there that are cute and comfortable and are, there's just that magic combination. So yeah, worth doing a little explicit shoe shopping before your trip to Europe, and take a few walks around the block with those shoes on to break them in before you go.
And one big tip I will say on shoes is wear your bulkiest shoes on the plane. So
Oh,
that
that's
way you
such a
have a
good
little
point.
bit more space, yeah, on your bag.
Yeah, even if your first destination is going to be a warmer destination, I will have my boots or my chunky walking shoes on. That's
Yeah.
absolutely a good move. All right. And then Carmen alluded to this earlier, but it also bears repeating. No matter the trip duration, where you're going, if you've been there before, always ensure you and your clients have travel insurance. It's definitely more of a necessity than a nice to have these days. And I always recommend to our advisors to just build it into the initial quote that your specialist gives to you. That way, the very first price your clients see already has travel insurance baked into it. It's not seen as like an add-on or like an extra thing they have to budget for. And I think that also kind of subconsciously ingrains it as, oh, this is important. And I assume that you're going to book it. So yeah, I absolutely am adamant about travel insurance. I do have an option for it through some of the travel credit cards that I use, but those aren't as comprehensive as the packages we offer. So I tend to use both when I travel. I don't know about you, Carmen.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a non-negotiable for myself. And of course, we always have that mindset of like, well, we're looking at the positive, nothing's going to go wrong. And you know what? 99% of the time, it probably won't, right? Or at least we're hoping that it won't. But it's always that 1%. And unfortunately, it's that 1% that when you didn't get it, that something does happen. So it's just an unnecessary stress. And not just for travel disruption, but when you're in the destination and maybe you or someone from your group gets ill or an accident happens. So you want to make sure that you have a policy that does cover both in that travel disruption and medical.
All right, good stuff. So We also wanted to share some tips both for you and to share with your clients before they go. If your clients are planning their trip well in advance, there can sometimes be months and months in between them locking in their trip for that initial excitement to fade a little bit and the anxiety to creep up a little bit. So we want to offer some great tricks, not just for you to implement, but to share with your clients to keep that engagement up while they're still in that planning phase before they fly to Europe. And tech has come so far. The first time I went to Europe, I was a teenager. It was over 20 years ago. I have no idea how I navigated train systems. My friends and I found each other in London Heathrow Airport, of all places, and we did it without smartphones. So I have no idea how we managed, but it is so nice and seamless now that we have so much technology right in our pocket to help make travel more seamless. Mobile data options, it varies by your carrier. They're not all created equal, unfortunately. I use an app. Airlo is my preferred one. It's just an app on your phone. You could purchase a SIM for a specific country or region, and there's a few options in terms of the data package, so that comes in really handy. And we also recommend downloading a few apps before you leave, especially Maps.me or Google Maps offline. So you can determine a specific area, say Rome, and have Google Maps download that chunk of the map so it's accessible to you offline. So even if you're in airplane mode, don't have an international data plan, you can still navigate yourself around offline. So that's come to my rescue many a time. There are great translation apps that are usable offline as well. So always worth doing a little bit of homework and learn your pleases and thank yous in whatever language of your destination. But the translation apps come in very handy. And I don't know about you, but I think it's great to show that you're trying in a new destination, even if they speak English, which I'm finding happens more often than not. Still give that a try to speak their language where you can. We mentioned air tags before, but also bears repeating. I do keep mine in my carry-on as well as any checked luggage, just that safety net that I'll always be able to track it no matter where it ends up. There is also a few ways to keep tabs on the currency conversion. I just found this one out recently that on the calculator on iPhone, you can toggle on to a currency conversion setting. So within the app, there's a little calculator icon in the bottom left corner. If you toggle it to convert, then you can select the currency and it'll automatically do the conversion for you. It's super handy. And of course, a big thing, none of this really works if you don't have the correct power adapters. So this is important to know. Carmen and I both love the ones that have multiple USB or USB-C ports built in, so you can charge multiple devices at once. And I also find that the bigger kind of clunkier ones are kind of heavy and sometimes they don't stay in the socket very well. So having one with a few different ports built into it is always a great option to kind of maximize both the space in your luggage as well as get all of your devices charged up in one go. All right, now always important to talk about a few health and safety tips and things to be mindful of. I mentioned bringing those electrolyte supplements. Always want to make sure we're staying hydrated, especially European summer. It is hot out there. I don't know about where you guys are sitting, but oh my Lord, I can't even walk my dogs past like 7 in the morning right now. So the dehydration can really derail a trip quickly. So make sure you recommend to your clients that they stay hydrated and always bring a reusable water bottle. For the most part in Europe, tap water is safe to drink, and there are many destinations that have like water refill stations for the community. So those come in handy. Compression socks are nice if you're like me and your ankles like bulge out every time you fly. Compression socks are really nice, as well as blister bandages, a very good just in case item to keep on you. Hand sanitizer and some basic medications. Like always, is handy to have on you: ibuprofen or motion sickness pills, any allergy medications, even something over the counter. You might not be prone to an allergy here, but you might be in Croatia. You never know. So those are nice to have. There isn't always the same over-the-counter medications available in Europe that we can get at home. So that is something that I'm more adamant about having on hand and bringing from home, so I know what I'm taking. We also recommend digitizing some of your key documents and storing them securely in a virtual drive like Google or Dropbox. It's just a really nice emergency safety net to have. And another thing clients can do if maybe they're first-time travelers and they're a little bit more nervous about leaving the country, to also pinpoint the closest U.S. embassy to where they're going to be, as well as some hotel addresses and maybe a visitor center, or some place where they'll speak English and your clients can get support should they need it. Always nice to just have that pinned on Google Maps offline, and they can just set it and forget it. And 911 is a little bit different in Europe. It's not the same number. 112 is the EU-wide emergency service line. So good thing to kind of keep in your back pocket. Never had to use it before. Hope we never have to, but always good to know. All right, Carmen, you want to speak to some of the organization hacks that you share with us?
Yeah, absolutely. So having the organization that the packing cubes provide is massive, but going a step further into really strategizing what you're going to be wearing. And this was kind of like going back to when I said that I do one of those packing cubes on my personal bag with the first 3 outfits of wherever I'm traveling to. So rather than packing all of your shirts in one, all of your pants in another, do it by either destination, right? So like for the first 3 days that you're going to be in Rome, and then you maybe board into a cruise and you don't get off again until Nice. Maybe then your next packing cube will be for your Nice adventures. So that is an organizational hack that I've been using now for the past few years. I even have those that you can write a little sign or tag that you put outside the packing cube, and you can put whether it's the location or the first few days, so that way you know which one to open and use next. Then passport holders. This is a scary one. I don't know about you guys, but I probably check where my passport is about probably 5 times just before even leaving the airport. And then
I'm
again,
so
when you're
glad I'm not the only one.
no, I think we all do that. I think it's just our brains freaking out.
Yep,
But
I have
I
to find my
recently,
passport and make sure the gate actually exists before I can
listen,
relax.
yeah, that too. So we're all on the same page at least. But having a bright color passport holder has been honestly really helpful with my anxiety. So I have a really bright purple one that I know I don't even have to take it out. As soon as I just open that zipper, I see that bright purple and I know it's there. And then the power bank, right? You're likely to spend those long days exploring, taking so many videos, so many photos. You don't want to risk being out and your battery for your phone almost dying and you having to get back to the hotel. So always have that power bank with you.
Great tips. A few more just kind of pre-travel recommendations and tips from us. It is worth having a quick check of the government travel page of the country you're visiting. Even Carmen and I, as travel experts, we've even had to check ourselves on this as well. The UK just rolled out a few months ago, Carmen, a new visa
Yeah.
waiver. It sounds more intimidating than it is. We both have done it. It's a very quick and easy form. You snap your photo, and I'm pretty sure my visa waiver was approved like within a couple hours. So it's really not a big deal. It's just one little extra step, but always worth making sure, you and your clients are kind of checking for those things in advance. I also like getting local currency out. So, if heaven forbid my phone dies, or maybe the ATM doesn't take my card for whatever reason, having some cash on hand is just a safety net that I like to have. It takes a little bit of advanced planning. My bank, at least, it takes a few business days for them to ship the currency to me. But I also like it too because it gives you something tangible for the destination you're going to. It kind of gets me more excited. This varies quite a bit depending on your bank. Any international transaction fees, these can be 0 to shockingly expensive, so always good to know. I tend to default to a credit card that is a travel credit card explicitly, so there's no international transaction fees, but that's not the case across the board. And I always tend to share my itinerary with a couple friends or family members, not that they need to do anything about it, but just so someone else can look up and know where I am at any given time on the trip. All right,
Yeah,
so
these
I
are
think,
really great tips.
sorry, go ahead, Carmen.
No, I was just going to say that these are great tips. I myself, with the new UK visa, the last time I went, which was just this past December, it still had not been active. I believe it was just this January. But because of my pre-check rule, that instead of doing this a day or two before, I usually have my pre-check of everything that I need about 2 weeks before I depart, which I'm departing on my trip next week. I was able to realize that I had yet to apply for the UK the entry visa. But just like you, it literally just took a couple of minutes, but we don't want to risk that, right? Just because it might have taken a few minutes, they do say that sometimes it can take a few days. So we want to make sure that we have these things sorted out and verified with plenty of time in case of certain little things that we might forget to do.
All right, awesome. So I'm just having a peek at our Q&A. We've got a lot of requests for, what specific brands of things we recommend. So both in the chat and the Q&A box, I'm putting a link to Carmen's blog that kind of goes through these checklists and need to have, as well as a link to her Amazon list. So you can filter through, add it to your cart, and get it to you in time for your next trip. So let me share that right there.
And as much as it would be really nice, guys, I promise I'm not getting a percentage of whatever you buy. These are these are really my actual items that I personally use. So I wouldn't recommend it unless I use them myself.
You're literally just sharing the love.
Exactly.
All right. Sharon is asking, any suggestion on the amount of currency you'd recommend? Oh, yeah, that's tricky. I usually don't bring a ton of cash. There is kind of a sweet spot between having enough on hand that you've got it in an emergency, but not having so much on hand that you're paranoid. I usually bring between 50 to maybe 100 US dollars worth of local currency. But very good call out on paying for public toilets. That is something, kind of unique to Europe that you see pretty often, is that it usually takes a coin or two to access public toilets. I've never been able to get coin currency from my bank before a trip, but yeah, at least having maybe 20 euros or so, or something that you can break into small coins for toilets, that's always going to come in handy. It's a really good call out. All right, Sandy asks, will you be sharing this presentation? Yes, all of our webinars are added to our training library. So if you are logged in at europeexpress.com, you'll be able to see a resources tab, and our webinar and event library is all in there. So you'll be able to access the recording at any time. All right, and yeah, the question box is open if anyone else oh, the Amazon link isn't working. Okay, let's try this instead.
I see a comment from Anna that she also just started using a clothing rack and that it really helps.
Look at that.
Love it.
You're evangelizing the clothing rack. I started doing something similar, but just so I don't have to fold all my laundry and put it away and then take it back out again. So I've kind of got my chair that all
Whatever
my
works.
clothes go on. All right, Sandy, are the checklists available in your blog? Yeah, Carmen itemizes a lot of what we've talked about in her blog, as well as a link to the travel must-haves. If you scroll to the bottom of the blog, the link is all there. All right.
Someone asked, what was the name of the cell phone SIM? What was that, Kels?
Yeah, so I use Airlo. I can pop back to that slide if someone wants to jot this down. I know that's not the only app out there. I forget the name of the other ones, but yeah, AIRALO. It's a free app, and then you can pick, just a couple gigs for a specific country or region, all the way up to, a whole bunch of data that spans multiple countries. So it's really nice to just be able to like pick and choose what you need instead of that flat. At least with my carrier, it's like $10 a day. So definitely a nice cost saving option. All right. Carmen Hawkins says, I have AirTags in all important things. Yes, yeah. Better safe than sorry. AirTags are
Yeah.
such an amazing invention. Um, Bobby Murphy says, thanks so much, ladies. Many of these will be added to my international packing list for clients. You are absolutely welcome. Absolutely take these tricks. These are great things to incorporate if you promote your business on social media. You can always say, follow me. I'm going to be posting one packing hack per day for the next week or whatever the case may be. With summer in Europe kickstarting right now, this is a perfect time to maybe put some of those tips and tricks out there to help showcase to your clients, your expertise.
Absolutely. Same with the blog, guys. Feel free to copy and paste and use it as your own tips. Anything that is in our blog or in the Europe Express website is there for you guys to utilize as your own. You have full permission rights to use what we're providing to you. We want to help you impress your clients. So anything we have is for you to use.
Yeah, let's see how to
How
get to
to
the
get to the
blog.
blog.
Yeah, Terry, so if you are on europeexpress.com, and then you pop to the advisor login on the top right hand side, we want to make sure that you are logged in as a travel advisor. That's where all the good stuff, all of the resources on our website are behind that agent login. You'll see a travel blog banner. It's one of the options at the top of the page, but here is a link. I'll send it to everybody. That'll take you, straight to Carmen's blog. But there are a lot of other great resources, both for you as an advisor on building your Europe business, and also great options that you can download as a PDF or just share the link with clients. If you're just looking for ways to engage with them. All right. I think we covered all the questions, Carmen. Do you see anybody
Yeah.
else? I do like Carmen Hawkins' recommendation, encourage clients to register with the STEP program with the State Department. So it's like a registration so that the government this sounds creepy, but the government knows where you are to some extent. So that's a nice safety net as well. All right, I think that about does it for us. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Carmen and I are so happy to be able to bring this content to you, hopefully inspire you for your next trip to Europe and help your clients come as prepared as they possibly can on their next European adventure. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great week.
Bye.